A Palestinian refugee camp somewhere in the Middle East. There are countless dozens of such camps, holding in all about 250,000 Arab refugees. Some have lived here, if one can call it living, for a generation. Others were born here. These are the permanently displaced persons of the Arab world. Trapped in the blind alley of international politics, their plight has earned, shamefully slowly, the sympathy of the world. It is when some demand that sympathy at the point of a gun that it evaporates. A familiar scene. The walls have become picture galleries for the art of revolution. What was once a political cause founded on elements of justice has now become an excuse for indiscriminate terror. Replacing argument with bullets and bombs has done nothing to advance their cause, has only tarnished their image. Their ranks are split between a dozen factions, each willing to act more violently than the other. This week, Echo examines an Arab cause turned sour, a band of men who snatch at the headlines with acts of terrorism. The Fedayeen. This year in Cairo, Egyptian President Sadat was reluctant host to a summit meeting of Arab-Palestinian groups apparently intent on unity. Yasser Arafat, leader of al-Fatah, sought help in consolidating his position. Sadat equivocated, unwilling, like most other Arab leaders, to identify too closely with terrorism. The conference was a last attempt to bring together the private armies of the Palestinian cause and thrash out a common policy for them all. In the event, it was a failure. Many of the most extreme groups, such as the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, did not attend at all. And those who did come spent much of their time arguing in the lobbies without reaching agreement. It ended where it began. Uncertain, leaderless, a step from anarchy. For al-Fatah, it was defeat. Its carefully shaped public image of moderation cracked open, revealing ties between Arafat and the terrorists. This was the result of an Israeli strike against a Fedayeen stronghold in southern Lebanon. Since 1970, Lebanon has been their only refuge, the Beirut government having unofficially given some 25 square miles to the Palestinian guerrillas. Frequent Israeli raids, however, undermined their position. Furthermore, it gave the Lebanese army an excuse to move in and take control. In all directions, the Fedayeen were in retreat. And the retreat started here in Amman. King Hussein of Jordan once supported the cause of the Palestine Arabs. The Fedayeen took advantage of that support to build a massive army on Jordanian soil. Inevitably, the crunch came, and the Fedayeen were routed by the loyal forces of the king. Today, their former Jordanian headquarters are derelict. And beyond Amman, camels graze at the scene of the Fedayeen's biggest triumph, Dawson's Field, where they hijacked 3 airliners and destroyed them in a blaze of publicity. Nor is there much comfort in Damascus. Syria, nervous of Israeli reprisals and beset with problems of its own, merely tolerates but does not encourage Fedayeen activities. The streets of the Syrian capital are no place for Fedayeen demonstrations. The only uniforms one sees here belong to members of the Syrian army. The Fedayeen stay wisely in the background. In Lebanon, the level of Fedayeen activity varies in direct proportion to Israel's level of tolerance. Anxious to retain its access to the rich pickings of tourism and commerce, and vulnerable to Israeli attack, Lebanon falls between two worlds, order and anarchy. In some parts of Beirut, even the traffic is controlled by guerrilla police, clearing the way for a Fedayeen funeral. The mourners are Fedayeen sympathizers. The dead men, two Fedayeen killed in a hijack attempt on a Belgian jet at Tel Aviv. That they were killed by disguised Israeli commandos is said to be murder. That they were threatening the lives of 98 innocent passengers and crew is conveniently forgotten. And how could the Fedayeen justify taking the lives of 25 passengers at Lod Airport, 3/4 of them Puerto Rican Roman Catholics?
There is nobody who has nothing to do with our conflict. Everybody is responsible for the conflict. The conflict is not between Arabs and Israelis. The conflict is between imperialism and people who are exploited. Imperialism, Zionism, reaction, and people who are exploited. Everybody who goes to Israel is responsible for that. We are in a state of war. We want to liberate Palestine. Let them go have vacation in Saigon, but not in Tel Aviv.
London, Tel Aviv, Cairo and Munich. Murder has been committed in all these places in the name of a free Palestine. The Fedayeen justify all the deaths in the same specious way, and the killers, when they die, are given heroes' funerals. Their tombstones marked with the legend of world revolution. Here in Beirut, as elsewhere, new graves will willingly accept tomorrow's victims. The ritual of slaughter goes on its blood-stained way. Fedayeen is the Arabic word for men of sacrifice. It sounds heroic enough until the realization dawns that the sacrifice in this campaign is being made largely by the innocent and uninvolved, and that the whole original motive for the Fedayeen has been obscured. Defeated in open battle, the Fedayeen are on the run, are being forced to go underground. The irony of their situation is that they don't or won't realize that they too are being manipulated by bigger powers in the global chess game, powers with a vested interest in keeping the Middle East situation on the boil. But at the back of the several hundred Fedayeen, there is already a new generation who remember a lost land and hate the world for that deprivation. But any military defeat for the Fedayeen must go together with a greater measure of justice for the Palestinians. The smiles of childhood hide the seed of adult discontent, and that justice alone can change the politics of death into a program for a new life.